This is the Roulette Master. I just received an incredible email from a guy named Dale, and he says that the system that he's going to share with you today is the best system that has ever been on this channel, and that is exciting. He calls this the Staying Alive Jackpot system by Dale, and we're going to test it today against a system that I use in the casino regularly, the high-low no boss, and we're going to start with that first, and then we'll get to this incredible new strategy that Dale says is the best that's ever been on the channel. So this is exciting, and I can't wait to get started. So let's place the bets, and we're going to start on the last one to hit, first 12 for $5 and second 12 for $5, which is the longest since it is hit. And let's see what we get here. That's a 32 red. And while we're doing this, we're going to look for 3 in a row of a dozen as our trigger. And we're going to go from 5 to 15 now after that loss. And we'll be on third 12 that just hit and second 12 that is the longest since it is hit. And let's go ahead and spin. All right, again, this is the high-low no boss roulette system, and that's a 9 red. We lost again. So we're going to go to 45 now, and we'll be on first 12. And then we'll also be on the longest since it's hit, second 12. And this is just phase 1 of this system. We're looking for 3 in a row of a dozen. While we're doing this, basically, we got the win. And with phase 1 of this, if you get a win, you always restart. So you can see we're back up again, and we have 2 of the last 2 are first 12. So if the next one is first 12, we can go into phase 2. We're going to be on first 12 and second 12 for $5 each, and let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a 17 black. We did not get the 3 in a row, but we did get the win. So we'll be on second 12 and third 12 now. Again, the last to hit and the longest since it's hit. And again, this is just phase 1. Phase 2 is going to pay a lot more. Okay, we got 2 in a row of second 12. So if we hit second 12 again, we will have our trigger. And we'll be on second and third for 5 each. And again, this is just to make money while you're waiting for the big trigger, and that's a 26 black. We didn't get it, but we got the win, and we're up 20. So we'll be on third 12 and first 12 for 5 each. And this is just a way of playing and making some profit so that you don't have to sit out on spins if you play with a live dealer. And then you can really take advantage of the no boss strategy once the trigger comes along. So we're going to go to from 5 to 15. We'll be on second 12 and first 12. And let's spin. And again, 1 win in phase 1 resets you. So here we go. That's a 15 black. That's a win. Okay, we're up 25. So we'll be on second 12 and first 12 now and spin. And here we go. All right. That is a 13 black. That's a $5 win. And now we have 2 in a row, second 12. So if we get another second 12, we'll have our trigger for phase 2, which pays us a lot more. We'll be on second 12 and first 12. And let's spin. And again, in phase 1, if you win, you always restart back to $5. And that's a 21 red. And we finally have our first no boss trigger. So when we get our trigger of 3 in a row of a dozen, we put $100 on the other 2. And then if we lose this one, we put $250 each on those same 2 dozen. So let's go ahead and spin. And if we win this, we'll win $100 in 1 spin. And that's a 2 black. And we got it. So phase 2 pays more. That's why we're now up $135. And we'll be back to phase 1 now. And we'll be waiting for our trigger. We'll be on first 12 and third 12. And let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. That's a 4 black. Okay, we got 2 in a row. We might have another trigger soon. We'll be on first 12 and third 12. And again, phase 2 pays more. We'll see if we get our next trigger. We did not. That's a 29 black. However, we did get the win, so that's good. And we're up $145 now. And we'll be on third 12 and second 12 for 5 each. And let's see what we get here. Okay, that's a 25 red. Fantastic. And now we have 2 in a row, third 12. So we're getting close to our next trigger. We'll be on third 12 and second 12 for 5 each. And let's spin. Make sure in phase 1 you don't start with higher bets because phase 1, we don't want to lose our bankroll with phase 1. We just want to continually make small profits and until phase 2 comes around. And we lost that one, so now we'll be on first 12 for 15 and second 12 for 15. And we'll make some money while we're waiting for our next trigger in phase 2. That's a 7 red. We have 2 in a row. So we'll go back to 5 because we won. We'll be on first and second 12. If we get a low number here, we'll have another trigger for phase 2. We almost got the 5, but we didn't get it. So the good news is we did win. So now we're up $160, and we'll be on second and third. Again, don't start with higher bets than $5 unless you have to meet the table minimum. But this is all about just making profit while we're waiting for phase 2. And we might get a trigger here soon again because we have 2 in a row of second 12 now. So we'll go second and third for 5 each, and let's spin. And if we get a second 12 here, we'll have our next trigger. We did not. That's a 6 black. Okay, so we'll go to 15 on first 12 and third 12 and spin. And sometimes you get a lot of triggers. Sometimes you don't get a whole lot, but usually it ends up being really good. And you want to cash out once you're up. You're happy with what you're up. And we were at 15, so we got to go to 45. And we'll be on second 12 and third 12 for 45 each. And I bet we get the win here. We've had some low numbers. Let's get a middle or high. And we got the win with the 17 black. Okay, we have 2 in a row, second 12. So we could be very close to our next trigger. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. All right. And that's a 2 black. We lost. So we go to 15 on first 12. And then 15 on third 12. And once I get 2 wins in phase 2, I cash out. That's a 22 black. We lost again, so we go to 45, and we'll be on second 12 and third 12. Okay, and let's spend 45 each. And even if we lose this, we'll have plenty more bullets. That's a 10 black. And we lost again. So now we'll be at 135 each, and we'll be on first 12. And we'll be on third 12. 135. Here we go. And let's spin. All right. That's a 12 red. Okay, we got the win. And when you're in phase 1, 1 win will reset you. We're up 175. And you see we are real close to our next trigger. And remember, I cash out after 2 wins in phase 2. So let's go ahead and we'll be on first 12 and third 12 for 5 each. And if we hit a low number here, we might have that next trigger that gets us to cashing out. And that's a 33 black. We didn't get it, but we did win. So we're up 180. And the nice thing about this system, too, is that all these little $5 wins, eventually you might get to where you don't need that second win in phase 2. And we're getting close to that now. Okay, we lost, so we'll go to 15 on first 12, 15 on second 12, and spin. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a win on 23 red. Okay, fantastic. We're up 185, and you can see we're creeping closer to not needing that second win in phase 2 because we've made so much on the $5 bets. That's a 26 black. And sometimes you can win your $200 really quickly. And we'll be on third 12 and first 12 now. We're up 190, and we're almost to that $200 goal. And we haven't even won a second time in phase 2. But remember, in phase 2, there's 2 bullets. The first one's at 100 each. The second one's at 250 each. So we'll be on first 12 and second 12 now. We're up 195. And the goal is to win $200 a day with this system. And this is a modification of the original no boss system so that you don't have to sit out spins. And we're getting next to and we got our 200. So we could cash out right now. And if you're in the casino, I think that's a good idea. But we're real close to our next trigger. Let's go ahead and spin and see if we get it. Because we're going to test this out for 15 minutes like we always do so that you can see the good and the bad with every system. But when I play this, once I win 200, I'm out. So let's go ahead now, and we'll be on third 12. And then I move on to the next system. And we'll be on third and second and spin for 15 each. And here we go. Okay, that's a win, 24 black. Okay, we'll be on second 12 and first 12 now, up 205. But again, if I was already playing like this, I'd already have cashed out and declared victory over the casino, just like those shirts that we sell at theroulettemaster.com. On the front, they say declare victory, and on the back, I'm sorry, on the back they say declare victory. On the front, they say cash out. So we got 2 in a row now. We're close to our next trigger here. So we'll be 5 on second, 5 on first. If we get a second 12 hit here, we'll have another trigger. And that's it, 13 black. I think we got our trigger. And now we will put $100 on the other 2, first and third. And even if we lose this, we'll have another bolt in the chamber. We'll have 250, 250. And we won, though. We don't need that second one. So now all of a sudden we're up 315. But again, I will reiterate, we're going to keep playing this, but because we test them for 15 minutes. But when you're playing in the casino, make your quick $200 and walk out. And that's the way to do it. And that's a 10 black. Another nice win. So we'll be on first 12 and second 12 now. We're up $320. And you can make a lot more than 200, but there's more risk the longer that you play. And that's a 4 black. And that's a win. So we'll be on first and second. If we get a low number here, we'll have our next trigger. Here we go. That's a low number, but that's not our next trigger. That is a 0. So we're going to keep the bets in the same spot, but go from 5 to 15. And spin. A lot of times when I ask for a low number, I hit a 0. That's oh my goodness. And it happened again. How about that? Okay, so we'll go from 15 to 45. We'll leave them in the same spot since we hit 0. And that's crazy how zeros seem to always come back to back. That's a 36 red. And we lost again. So now we go from 45 to 135. And we'll be on third 12. Here we go. And then we'll also be on second 12 for 135. There we go. And this is a $2,000 bankroll system today. Both systems are, but you can play with less if you would like. 1,000 would be sufficient if you wanted to. And that's a 13 black. But we got the win. And remember, in phase 1, you only need 1 win. You can see we're back up 330. So we'll be on second 12 and first 12. And let's see if we get another trigger here. And but again, I would have already cashed out, but we're testing it, long term, so that you can see, how long it would take sometimes before something bad would happen. And let's spin. And a lot of times I look for a situation where I would have lost with 5 in a row of a dozen before I start. I almost always do that. So that's something you can do as well. And we'll be on second 12 for 15 and third 12 for 15. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 21 red. Okay, we got 2 in a row now, guys. We're up 340. And we'll be on second and third. And let's spin. And we'll see if we get our next trigger. That's a 1 red. I don't think we did. No, we did not. So we'll be at 15 now on first 12 and third 12. And that's a $30 total bet. Let's spin. And again, this is the high-low, no-boss strategy where you can play the no-boss strategy without sitting out. And we'll go 15 to 45. We'll be on second and third for 45 each. And let's spin. Here we go. Okay, that's a 13 black. And we got it. So we have 2 in a row now. We're up 345. And we'll be on second and third, last to hit and longest since it's hit. 5 each, and let's spin. That's a 23 red. Another nice win. We have 2. Oh, we have our next trigger, guys. We're up $350, and we have our next trigger. So if we lose this, we'll put $250 each on first and third. But let's see if we get the win on first and third with $100 each. And we got it. That's a 1 red. Most of the time you win the first one, but sometimes it takes the second, and we're at $450. You can see phase 2 pays a lot more, and phase 1 is to get you to phase 2 without having to sit out. And let's spin. Okay, that's a 35 black. That's a win. So we'll be on second and third for 5 each. And let's spin. And we're coming right down the stretch here with the high, low, no boss. And then the new one of the day coming up from Dale. He says it's the best system that has ever been seen on this channel. So that is a huge claim. And after over 2,000 systems now, and we'll be on first and second for 15 each. And this will be our final spin. We're right at the 15-minute mark. Okay, that's a 3 red. And after 15 minutes with the high, low, no boss, we made $460 profit. But when you play this in your local casino or wherever you play it, cash out when you're up 200 and declare victory, just like those shirts we sell at theroulettemaster.com. And that would be fantastic. And now it is time for this incredible new system by Dale. Again, he says this is the best that's ever been on this channel, and we've had over 2,000 of them. So this is exciting. I can't wait to see how good it is. Let's jump right into it. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for the Staying Alive Jackpot Roulette system by Dale. He said this is the best system that has ever been on this channel. That is a massive claim. Over 2,000 videos have been sent in, and let's see how amazing it is. I can't wait to see. So we're going to start with a $10 bet on second 12, a $10 bet on second column, and then we're going to have some bets up here, just like that. These are dollar bets, and then a $2 bet on 000. So let's go ahead and spin. This is a $30 total bet, and we're off and running. And let's see what we get here. This is the Staying Alive Jackpot by Dale. Okay, and this is going to be a modified Fibonacci sequence. The only time you can double is the first time that you lose, and then we'll go over the rest of the progression. And here we go. That's a 28 black. Okay, we lost. So we went from 1 to 2. Now we're going to go to 3. So let's go ahead and do that. And Dale says this system really pays off. And we went from 2 to 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6 on that 000 bet. And then let's place those $10 bets to 30. So basically we went 10, 20, 30. And let's spin. That's a 23 red. That's a $198 win. We're up $108 already. How about that? So let's go back to 30. And again, that's $2 on 000, 10 on second 12, second column. And then those are all dollar bets. They're in the second 12. This is a $30 total bet again. And here we go. This is the Staying Alive Jackpot Roulette system by Dale. That's a break even there, so we'll just rebet. We're up $108. And let's spin. All right, here we go. That's a 10 black. Okay, we lost that one. So again, the first one's the only one you can hit the double button on because we're just going from 1 to 2. This is a modified Fibonacci sequence. And here we go. How about that? That's a 20 black. That's a $132 win. We're up $210 already. That is impressive. Okay. Back to base level. Back to $1 on each of those bets. $2 on the 000 and 10 on the other ones. 0 is the smallest win with this system. And that's a $6 win, but we'll take it. We're up $216. And let's go ahead and spin. So if you hit 000 and you're down, you're going to not reset. You're going to just keep the bet the same and spin again. Anything else hits that's a good payout, you're going to reset. So we're going to double. Again, the only time we can do that is the first loss, but we're not actually doubling. We're just going up a unit. So there's another 20. How about that? It's a $132 win. We're up $318. Wow. Okay, let's go back to 30 and spin. We're back at base level, and this has been incredible so far. That's a 15 black. That's a $36 win. We're up $354. Still at base level here, and let's see how many second 12 hits we can get. That would be awesome, and that's a 10 black. That's a loss, and we previously just had a 10 recently there. So let's again, you can only hit the double the first time you lose, so we'll do that. But we're just going from 1 unit to 2 units, and that's a 24 black. That's a nice $72 win. We're up $396 already. That's incredible. Let's go ahead and spin again. Thank you, Dale, for sending this in. This has been awesome, but let's see if this continues the rest of the way. And we just started with this one. So we're up $396 still. We'll just rebet and spin, and that's one of those break-even ones there. And here we go. That's a 26 black. Another break-even. We're up $396 still. We'll rebet and spin, and this is the Staying Alive Jackpot by Dale. And look at that, another 20. That's a $66 win. We're up $462, and we're still at base level, which is awesome. And here we go. That's a 13 black. Okay, that's a break even. If you hit one of those ones down in the first column that aren't covered with the second column or the dollar bets, and that's a 13 black. It's back-to-back 13s, but that won't hurt us any. We're at 462, and let's rebet and spin. I'd love to see a 17 too. I love when we hit 17. That's one of my favorite numbers, and that's a 16 red. Another break even, won't hurt us any. We're at 462. All right, let's keep it rolling and keep making money with Dale's new system. Here we go. That's a 14 black. How about that? Another 66 bucks. Up $528 already. Wow. That is impressive. That's a 1 red. That should be a loss. So again, the only time you can hit the double button is the first time you lose, but we're just going from 1 unit to 2 units. And then it's a modified Fibonacci sequence after that. We're going to start adding up the 2 previous bets for our next bet, and we're going to do that right now. So we're going to go 1 plus 2 is 3. Not like that. Let's do the second 12-second column first. We'll go 20 to 30, and then all these go to 3. So if the column bets are 30, these are going to be 3, and so on and so forth. So we went from 2 to 4 over here. 2 plus 4 is 6, and there's a $90 total bet. And here we go. So it's not doubling. It's just going in a modified Fibonacci sequence where we double the first time we lose, and then we add up the 2 previous bets for our next bet. All right, let's go ahead and spin and see what we get here. That's a 31 black. We lost again. So now let's do the 10s first, and we're going to go from 30 to 50, which is 30 plus 20. Okay, and if these are 50, then we know these are 5. It's real easy to remember because 50 goes with 5, and that's just a real easy way to remember what these bets go to. Okay, we're at 6 over here. 6 plus 4 is 10. The last 2 bets of 6 and 4. So now we're at 150 total bet, and we have huge jackpot potential out there. That's a 6 black. And we lost again. So again, this is why we're using the Fibonacci sequence, not doubling, so that we can stay in the game. Let's do those $10 bets again first. We'll go 50 to 80, which is 50 plus 30, the last 2 bets. So if those are at 80, real easy to remember, these are at 8. Just like that. And then over here, we had 6 plus 10, which is 16. And let's spend $240 total bet. This is a $2,000 bankroll system, just like the first one, and that's a 25 red. Okay, so we lost. So we went from being way up to minus $42, but that's okay. Let's place our next bets and get a big win. So we're going to go from 80 to 130. Adding up the 2 previous bets, which means these are going to be 13. And the nice thing about being able to use this modified Fibonacci sequence is, and those 13 there, I'll make sure that's at 13. Okay, now it is. And this one over here is 16 plus 10 is 26. Okay, we're at 390 total bet. Now we have plenty in the bankroll to do so, But we need to get a win here pretty soon, and that's a big one. 17 black. That's an $858 win. Now we're up $816. That is incredible. Oh my goodness. So let's go back and put our bets back out again. That was huge. Okay. Dale was telling me that the amount of money you can make with this system is insane. There's our $30 bet again. 10 on the column and the dozen, and then dollar on the ones in the second 12. And then the 000 has a $2 bet on it. So we're up 816. Let's rebet and spin, and that was a massive win. So Dale, yeah, I see what you're talking about now, and we almost hit the 17 again, but the 5 is a break even, won't hurt us any. We're up 816. All right, let's rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 30 red. We lost that one. So we're going to hit the double button. The only time you can do it is the first time you increase. And let's spin. How about that? That's a 20 black. That's awesome. $132 win, up $918. We're going to go back to 30 and spin. We're back at base level, and here we go. But the reason we're using a modified Fibonacci sequence is so you don't lose your bankroll, and that's a break even. We'll rebet. If you doubled each and every time, you could win a lot more, but it would be much more risky than using a Fibonacci sequence, and that's a 32 red. Another break even. We're up $918. One more good win, and we're going to see a comma here pretty soon. That's a 9 red. And that's a loss. First loss, you can hit the double. So let's do that and spin. But we're just going from 1 unit to 2 units. So a 00 is a win. Not a big one, but we'll take it. But remember, you never reset when you hit 0 or 00. You just rebet and spin because it's a small win. And here we go again. That's an 18 red. That's a nice $72 win. We're up $972. So we're going to go back to 30. We're getting close to that comma. And this is doing amazing so far. So that's a 3 red. And that's a loss. So again, we'll hit the double. The only time we do it is on the first loss. And here we go. Might hit the 0 here. Oh, no, that's a 14. That's better than the 0. That's a $132 win. We're up $1,074. Wow. Okay, let's go back to 30 and spin. Man, let's see if it keeps going like this. And that's a 2 black. That should at least be a break even. And it is. So we're up $1,074. Still at base level. This is a $2,000 bankroll system. And here we go. That's a 30 red. That's a loss. So again, first time you increase, you hit double. Then after that, you add up the 2 previous bets for your next bet. Modified Fibonacci sequence, and that's a 12 red. And we lost. And again, the reason we don't double is because you would get in a lot of trouble if you'd had a bunch of back-to-back losses and you were doubling each time. So we don't need to because the potential for jackpots is always there. And we're going to go to 30 each. So 10, 20. Now we're at 30. And we went from 2 to 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6. And now we're at a $90 total bet. Oh, we almost hit the 17 and the 20 there. But we'll take a break even. Doesn't hurt us any. We're up $984. And let's get that comma back. Here we go. That's a 29 black. And again, this is the Staying Alive Jackpot by Dale. His last name is Heintzelman, Dale Heintzelman. So we're up $984. Let's rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 6 black. And that's a loss. We're going to go ahead and increase. Let's do the 10s first. 30 plus 20 is 50. So we know these bets have to be 5. And we still have huge jackpot potential across the center here. And then we went from 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So we're adding up the 2 previous bets for our next bet in this modified Fibonacci sequence. and that's a 36 red. Now we're starting to see a bunch of losses consecutively. Let's see how this deals with it. Okay, so here we go. 50 plus 30 is 80. So we know these bets have to be 8. So let's put them out there. And then this one over here was 10 plus 6, which will be 16. All right, that's a 240 total bet. Let's see a massive win right here. That's a 16 red. Oh, it's a break even. That would have been nice if we had hit one of those in the second or the third column, but we have to rebet and spin. Let's see what happens. That's a 10 black. And that's another total loss. So now we're only up 500 bucks. So this is probably one where you want to cash out when you're up a lot. But let's keep going. 80 plus 50 is 130. So we know if these are 130, that these bets over here have to be 13. And we still have that huge jackpot potential. Here we go. If we hit one of those with these high bets right across the center here, it's going to be massive. And then over here, we have 16 plus 10 is 26. The last two. Okay, we're at 390 total bet. We have plenty in the bankroll to do so. And here we go. That's a 27 red. And we lost again. So now we're only up 114 bucks. So we gotta play this out. But remember, and Dale will probably tell you this as well, if you're up 1,000 bucks, cash out. And okay, we're at 130 plus 80, which will be 210. But that's why we test these for a whole 15 minutes just in case. And if those are at 210, we know for sure that these bets are going to be at 21. And this has been doing amazing, but now you're seeing a really long losing streak. Let's see what happens. Okay, these have to be 21 because those are 210. And let's see what we have over here. 26 plus 20 is 46. Now we have a $634 bet left. We still have $2,100 left in our bankroll. Let's go ahead and spin and see what we get here. That's a 31 black. Ouch. Boy, this has been a big turnaround here. We only have 1,500 bucks left. And now, let's see where we go from here. 210 plus 130, that's 340. So we know that those bets over here, we have to win this one, guys. And that means these have to be 34. So let's go ahead and do that. And we have to get a win here, guys. This is getting out of control now. But I'm sure Dale's saying, why didn't you just cash out when you were up 1,000 bucks? Well, the reason why is because we test every system for the same amount of time so that you can see ups and downs. And obviously this one has huge income potential. We've already seen it, but now we're seeing, and we have 46 plus 26, 56, 66, 72. And this will be our final bet. We'll lose our bankroll. Well, we're not going to lose our bankroll, but we'll be down a lot if we lose this bet. So let's go ahead and spin, and we really need a win badly. That's a 6 black. Okay, and we went from up over $1,000 to after the 15 minutes being down 1,500. So that was a huge swing. Dale, you're right. This has huge income potential, but we also saw at the end that it can go badly as well. But thank you for so much for sending this in. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments as usual. And always remember to cash out when you're up. We just keep playing on this channel until we get to a certain time limit so that you can see the ups and the downs with every system. And I want to thank everyone that's been sending the systems in lately. They've been fantastic. And really, really appreciate it. And if you're enjoying the channel, enjoying the search for the best roulette system possible each and every day with me, please like, share, and subscribe. And let's keep growing this community of people that love roulette. This is the Roulette Master, and have a great day, everybody.